Hello everybody, this is Dr. Adli Abouzeedan talking with you again. I wanted to talk about our methodology, and in the previous episode I talked about human action. This episode I'm going to talk about the human interaction. And the human interaction simply means socialization and building our relationships. And we do that through meetings. We try to interact with each other, and we encourage true brotherhood and sisterhood between the members of the PSMA network. So we try to meet each other as much as we can. We try to keep connected to each other as much as we can. And the level of this interaction or connection depends on the different local networks and how much they are developed, and about it is related to the number of people within certain area, and the the size of the network and how much they are engaged in their activities. But as a leadership, as a PSME leadership, we try all the time to encourage people to get together and share knowledge and share resources in solving their own problems. Uh, and we promote members at the local level all the time to get together and try to really to build a common, to build some kind of a closeness between each other, so that they can support each other in life and really live through brotherhood and sisterhood. But at the same time also we have, uh, because we have different kind of background, we come from different religions and different idea systems, and we have different times in our lives that has significance in it. For example, if you're a Muslim in the PSMA network, you have these two high times in the year, where you celebrate with your own people of faith. If you're Christian, you have certain high times where you celebrate your these significant dates and times within Christianity. And the same thing if you're a Jew, and the same thing if you are Hindu, or if you are a Buddhist. And our members celebrating these things because they are belonging to different idea systems. So one of the things that I was very interested in, and was very important for us when we started the movement in 2013, is to create such reference points in the history of the movement, and use it as points of references where people can meet each other and can live the values of Ilahianism together. And what we do really basically is that we have 2 days during the year where we encourage everybody, every member of the PSM network, to get together and try really to do something which make them happy. In the city of Gothenburg, where I live, for example, um, during these 2 days we get together, and we try to, sometimes we just sit down in a cafe and have a nice gathering, or sometimes we eat with each other. And we encourage everybody at least during these 2 days to try to get together and remember the PSMA network and the Ilahanic movement itself. And we remind people all the time through the, because we have a journal, we have a newsletter that goes to everybody in English, which is called PSMA Gazette, where we always try to remember and remind people of that. And these two days are related to the history of the PSAM network or the Ilahinic movement system. And I want to, these couple of minutes, I want to explain what they mean and why they are important for us as Ilahins, and why we should be really, why it's important to really give specific attention to these days, and really feel that they are special to us as Ilahins, and as our movement do grow and become more and more extend through the whole world. The first one of them is we call day of realization, and then the other one we call the day of fulfillment. The first one, the day of realization, is the 12th of July from each year, 12th of July each year. And the occasion or the reasoning behind the creation of this high time day, what you call, or special day for the Ilahinic movement, is because it is the day where the Ilahinic movement is born and the Ilahinic ideology is born. And I'll be having a longer lecture about my history and how, the history of the Ilahinic movement, but because I'm talking about socialization and human interaction, I'll explain a bit about how that came on, and why we're celebrating this 12th of July every year. I had for long time and for many years thought a lot of what can I do to help creating better world, and that has to do with my background as Palestinian and as an Arab, as a Muslim, because through the years I really had very rich experience in living in different societies. Half of my life I lived in Kuwait. I lived a couple of years in the United States. I'm living in Sweden, and I'm a person very interested in other human beings and in analyzing the social phenomena. So I got the chance to live discrimination, injustice in its crudest way everywhere. And though I was an Arab, I did not really feel the kind of justice and the kind of love I needed when I lived between the Arabs. Though I am a Muslim, I did not find that among the Muslims. I went to the United States, I saw pure racism from some of the elements in the American society. I came to Sweden, and it is the same. So I was thinking all the time of what I want to do, what kind of project, what can I introduce to humanity, what can I give humanity, and what kind of ideology or ideas that I can give humanity, so to help in really solving these problems. And that took all my life. I start this the interest in these ideas very early in my life. When I was 10, 12, 13 years old, I was really very interested in these ideas, and I read a lot, and I educated myself in a couple of universities. And the 12th of July was the culmination of self-realization, or the realization of the concept. So I was sitting I have a small garden, so I was sitting in the garden, and suddenly all this intellectual wandering or journey through life came to a point of realization where I understood that something has to be done. And I remember that That self-realization manifested itself in me getting quickly into the house and bringing in a paper and writing the 5 core values, uh, which are humanism, purity, uh, humanism, morality, purity, unity, and truth. And then the rest of the theory developed with days, with time, the rest of it. But that day, the 5 core values became very clear in my mind. And we consider, and the leadership of the PSMA network consider the 12th of July as the day of the birth of the PSMA network, or the PSMA social movement, or what we call the Ilahinic social movement. And that's why we celebrate the 12th of July every year uh, in a different way. And there is nothing, because really it's about getting together. So we don't have any restrictions or any guidance of how you can get together. The most important that people who belong to the PSMA network, or people who are Ilahinic in their thinking, they get together with the members, other members of the network, and try to do something together. Anything which is memorable or nice or appealing for people is welcome. And we always, I always send a reminder for people before, a couple of weeks before that day, so that everybody try to do something around that date. And if somebody cannot really do something on the 12th because of certain circumstances, it doesn't make difference if he does it after or before, if it is a difference of a couple of days. But officially, the 12th of the July is our first high time, and we call it the day of realization. The other day where there is a high time celebration, which is also coupled to the history of the PSMA network or the Ilahinic movement, is the 4th of January every year. And what happened, the story behind that is that on the 12th of July 2013, the Ilahinic movement is born, the Ilahinic ideology is born, but I kept from July until the end of the 2013, I was more concerned of self-reflect for about 5 months, 6 months. I was trying to be certain that what the idea I got is true ideas, and that it has a future. And I was really scared. I was really afraid that when I start talking with my ideas to the people, that I will be rejected. It's the natural hesitation that any person of true message in life feels when he is going to go on and start proclaiming his message to the people. A couple of months I lived really an alternation between doubt and uncertainty. But by the through these weeks, I was becoming more and more and more certain of what I want. And I remember that I decided to, by the end of 2013, I decided to start telling people about this new ideology and the new way of thinking. And I called a person who is a good friend of mine, one of the people who I knew for a long time. And I said something that I will call him, I will tell him about my plan. If he responded, then that's a good start. If I was rejected, maybe I need to rethink the whole thing. And that guy accepted the message and became the first member of the PSMA network on the 4th of July, and the first Ilahin on the 4th of July. I am also an Ilahin, but I mean other than me. And from that, the network started to grow. Other people came in, and his positive response was very important. because it meant that I have a project now, and that we have a project now for saving humanity and helping in advancing the human cause. And that's why we celebrate this 4th of January every year, because it is meant to praise and honor every membership of the PSMA network, every membership of this great movement, every Ilahin who comes to this world the day he embraced the ideology itself, of the Ilahinic movement itself. And we do the same thing. We try to highlight in this day, the 4th day of July, by different means. And the 4th of July, we call it Day of Fulfillment. 12th of July is what we call the Day of Realization. 4th of January is what we call the Day of Fulfillment. And since 2014, we celebrate both. We celebrate 4th of January as the Day of Fulfillment, and we celebrate the 12th of July as the Day of Realization. So that is in short what we do in our networking, and the emphasis really is to be true brothers and sisters and support each other. We are very open for each other, and we try all the time to find common grounds where we can work together and strengthen the network. And we believe in true brotherhood and sisterhood, and we believe that as individuals we cannot really face the challenges that humanity has to deal with, but as a network, as people who believe in these 5 core values, there is a chance that we can create a better world. So networking is functioning, or human interaction is functioning both at individual level in the relationships between individuals, and it functions collectively for the whole of the network. And the level of activities is differ from certain local network to another network, but the bottom line is these 2 days that we celebrate every year, because every Ilahin on this earth is reminded of them and is promoted and encouraged really to kind of work with other Ilahins in trying to find a common ground, and in trying really to remember what was the great cause that did involve us in this great movement. With that, I thank you very much, and I move to the episode 13, where I'll be talking about the human knowledge. Again, this is Dr. Adli Abouzeedan, the establisher and the person behind the PSMA network, or the Ilahinic movement.